Welcome to Miss Edelyn's World History class. This is Sister Jose Maria with a lecture on ancient India. Already in class, we have looked at the Indus River Valley civilization, which was the first civilization which existed in India. It existed along the Indus River, and two of the major cities were Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. While India was isolated from the outside world by the Hindu Kush Mountains and the Himalaya Mountains, there were different passes through the mountains. And through these mountains, different people came, perhaps originally from Europe, but certainly from other places in Asia. And those people were the Aryans. The Indus River Valley civilization lasted from 2500 BC to 1500 BC. The Aryans came in around 1750 BC. So they come in through the Hindu Kush Mountains and move south. The Aryans bring with them their own civilization, and the Aryans will greatly shape India, its culture, its civilization, and its history. The Aryans were nomads who came in, and they destroyed much of the civilization that existed there. They destroyed many of the cities. And the Aryan civilization is characterized by the fact that they are nomadic warriors. They built no cities, so they didn't leave a lot of buildings and different things in the very beginning for archaeologists to look at. And they also brought with them this feeling of superiority based on their skin color. The Aryans had a light brown skin color, and the people who are native to India are going to have a darker brown skin color. The Aryans also brought with them their religious beliefs, which was polytheistic. And they also brought down this notion of teaching religion orally through what they called the Vedas. This is a picture of the Vedas when they are eventually written down. The Vedas, for a long time, were simply hymns and spiritual beliefs that were passed on orally. And so the time from 1500 BC to 500 BC is often called the Vedic Age. And then eventually they're actually going to write these down, and that's what you see depicted here. Their holy works written down in the Vedas. One of the lasting things that the Aryans left was the caste system. The caste system is this belief that there are different social groups, a social hierarchy that is intrinsic in the social order. The Aryans base this first on the fact that they were the conquerors and that they were the conquered. It's also based on the sense of racial superiority by the Aryans because they had light brown skin versus the darker skin color of the Dravidians, the people who were already there. Eventually this caste system is going to change, it's going to morph, and then for a while it becomes based on occupation. The caste system then is seen as something that you're going to be born into. And there's no ability to leave this. Once you're born into a caste, you stay into a caste. It was ordained by the gods, really, that was how you're going to live out your life. Because the Aryans felt superior to the Dravidians, who were the natives there, the Dravidians were placed into a lower class. Here's a picture of a painting of Dravidians today. So this caste system we will see still exists in certain forms even today in India. So it's very ancient, over 3,000 years old. The lowest class were the Sudras, in which the Dravidians and any other non-Aryan people were placed, and they were the ones who would do the farm work, they were the servants, they were the laborers. This pyramid shows the basic hierarchy of the caste system. Up top are the Brahmins. You need to know that, the Brahmins. The Brahmins were the priests, they were up top. Then you had the warriors, the merchants, and then finally the laborers. As the Aryans came in, they started to mingle with the people that they conquered, as often happens, and so the Aryan civilization started to change a bit as well. While the Aryans were originally nomads, they eventually took up farming. And as they were farmers, they also had a lot of livestock, and so you could tell how rich someone was by how much livestock they had, particularly in terms of cows and bulls. So cows and bulls were really seen as signifying great wealth. The Aryans also learned metallurgy, particularly with iron, how to make iron weapons, which also helped them in trade and to conquer territory with better weapons. In terms of religion, and we'll talk more about this later on, this belief in polytheism slowly moved into this notion of a single spiritual power, which was beyond the gods, and that's called Brahman. This belief is really laying the foundation for Hinduism. So we'll look more at Brahman, this single spiritual power that you can find in all things. We'll see that more when we look at Hinduism and then how that relates with Buddhism. But people became particularly interested in the religious life, and so this group of people called the mystics started to form, and a mystic is someone who dedicates their life to seeking spiritual truth. In terms of political power, here you see depicted a Raja, who was a tribal chief. He took power of different areas. That was the term, the Raja, and it eventually became passed on by hereditary right. If your dad was a Raja, you would be a Raja. The writing that slowly developed was Sanskrit, and that's what the Vedas are written in. And once again, the Vedic age lasted from 1500 BC to 500 BC, so 1,000 years. There are passed on to us from this time epic literature, and their epic literature tells us about Aryan life, and then also about early Aryan belief in terms of religion and the immortality of the soul. The Bhagavad Gita is a section of one of these Vedas, which is which holds the central truths for their religion. The Ramayana tells a very famous story of a young man who had to try to save his beloved wife. So Rama is the great hero who tries to save Sita, his bride, who is kidnapped by an evil demon king, Ravana. So this is one of the great tales of Indian culture. All right, we'll see you next time when we talk more about ancient India. God bless.